Hello everyone, today we're ranking Souls-likes from best to worst. This list is based on global player hype and reputation, plus critic and platform scores 57 games, from masterpieces to letdowns. Let's see where each one lands. At the top of the list is Elden Ring. Metacritic 96, user score 8.4, Game of the Year 2022, over 30 million copies sold, a genuine phenomenon. Its blend of open world and Souls combat is still the benchmark every game in this genre is measured against. Number 2, Bloodborne. Metacritic 92, user score 8.9, for countless players, the best From Software game of all. Gothic and cosmic horror atmosphere, aggressive sidestep combat, it has never left the top of the genre's popularity charts. Number 3, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Game of the Year 2019, with a parry system widely regarded as the peak of action game combat. Just be warned, the difficulty gate is brutal, and plenty of players quit before it clicks. Number 4, Dark Souls 3. Metacritic 89, user score 8.8, the culmination of the series. Boss design and feel won near universal praise, and it has one of the highest completion rates in the franchise, making it newcomer friendly. Number 5, Hollow Knight. Metacritic 90, a 97% positive on Steam, the ceiling of indie Metroidvanias. It is not strictly a Souls-like, but it carries the soul of the genre in the minds of many players. Number 6, the Demon's Souls Remake. Metacritic 92, Bluepoint's remake was called the perfect remake, a showcase for the PS5. As the game that started it all, its legacy mechanics like world tendency still divide veterans. Number 7, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree. Metacritic 94, a DLC the size of a full game and a candidate for the greatest expansion ever made. Its final boss, Radon, sparked one of the loudest difficulty debates in the community. Starting the A tier, Bloodborne, The Old Hunters. User score 9.1, reputation even above the base game, one of the greatest DLCs of all time. Ludwig, Maria, and the Orphan, 3 all-time great boss fights. Hollow Knight, Silksong, Metacritic 90, 7 years in the making. Horned takes the lead with fully evolved movement and combat, it delivered on almost every expectation. Lies of P, Metacritic 80-85, user score 8.4, the leader of the non-FromSoft pack. Combat feels great, and player reputation runs notably higher than the critics' average. Dark Souls Remastered, Metacritic 84, the classic in its best playable form. The interlocking level design is still a masterclass, the main complaint is how light touch the remaster is. Stellar Blade, Metacritic 81 but a 9.1 user score, the biggest player over media premium on this board. Snappy combat and gorgeous parry set pieces, the more you play, the more you love it. 9 Souls, Metacritic 84-86, 94% positive on Steam, the 2024 Dark Horse, often called Sekiro in 2D. Its Eastern mythology and narrative make it stand out. Dark Souls 3, The Ringed City, user score 8.7, the saga's epic finale. Gale and Mitter close the trilogy with 2 unforgettable fights, full of nostalgia. Dark Souls, Artorias of the Abyss, Metacritic 89, the template for great DLC. The story of Sif still hits hard. Lies of P, Overture, Metacritic 85, a prequel DLC that rivals the base game, a candidate for best DLC of 2025. Nioh 2, Metacritic 85, better than the original in almost every way, widely called one of the best non-FromSoft Souls-likes. Just be ready for a brutal difficulty curve. Black Myth, Wukong, the 2024 phenomenon, 10 million copies in 3 days. Metacritic 81, user 8.2, huge hype, real debate. The First Berserker, Kazan, Metacritic 78-83, 93% positive on Steam, the 2025 critical darling. Excellent boss fights and feel. Now the B tier. First, Nioh. Metacritic 88, the first great Samurai Souls. The key pulse and stance systems created a distinctive combat rhythm, though the late-game difficulty is contentious. Another Crab's Treasure, 94% positive on Steam. A funny, cozy ocean crab souls that is genuinely newcomer-friendly. The shell as weapon gimmick is a crowd-pleaser. Blasphemous 2, Metacritic 83-85, the series at its best, fully upgraded. The religious gothic pixel art remains stunning. Sultan Sanctuary, Metacritic 84, the 2D Dark Souls pioneer, one of the first to translate the formula into side-scrolling. Influential, though the art and UI draw complaints. Tales of Iron, Metacritic 81-84, narrated by Geralt's voice actor. Hand-drawn art plus punishing combat, short, sharp and beloved. Blasphemous, Metacritic 77 but 90% positive from players rated higher than critics. The religious martyrdom aesthetic is one of a kind. Grime, Metacritic 81. A combat system built around consuming enemies is genuinely unique, and the biome art direction is striking. The platforming divides opinion. Remnant 2, Metacritic 80-85, the co-op Soulsgun benchmark. 3-player co-op with procedural worlds, player reputation beats the first game. Star Wars Jedi, Fallen Order, Metacritic 79-81, 88% positive on Steam. Metroidvania plus Souls-like with satisfying lightsaber combat. EA's Star Wars Redemption. AI Limit, Metacritic 67-75 but a 91% positive on Steam. A Chinese sci-fi anime Souls-like, player score far above the media average, a sleeper hit. Code Vein, Metacritic 70-72, 86% positive on Steam. Anime Dark Souls. The blood code system and AI companions make group play popular, and it still has a loyal audience. Mandragora, Metacritic 73-77, a 2.5D Souls-like Metroidvania. Art and atmosphere are praised and content is generous, though its reach is modest. Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers, Metacritic 74-77. The late Ming Xuanhuan visuals are a standout, but the clunky feel and brutally hard bosses stir real debate. The C tier starts with Star Wars Jedi, Survivor. Metacritic 85 but only 71% positive on Steam. The launch day PC performance disaster tanked user scores. The most polarized reputation on this board. Thymesia, Metacritic 69, 81% positive on Steam. A tight Chinese action Souls-like with fast combat rhythm, media gives middling marks while players are clearly warmer. Mortal Shell, Metacritic 76, 69% positive on Steam. The hardened mechanic is the standout, but players gripe about length and mazy maps. The Last Faith, Metacritic 72-78, a gothic 2D Bloodborne. Great art and atmosphere, but critics call it competent yet uninspired. Remnant, From the Ashes, Metacritic 77-81. Gun Souls. Co-op and procedural maps are its calling card, great with friends, ordinary solo. Tales of Iron 2, Metacritic 77-78. Bigger and meaner, but criticized as a step back that feels like a big DLC, clearly below the first game. Wolong, Fallen Dynasty, Metacritic 79-80, user score 6.7. 3 Kingdoms plus a deflect system delivers real thrills, but repetitive content and weak optimization hurt it. Steel Rising, Metacritic 68-72 but a 7.9 user score. A French Revolution steampunk premise is fresh, and word of mouth is solid though the heat is low. Lords of the Fallen, Metacritic 70-75, 73% positive. The Umbral dual world mechanic has real ideas, but a disastrous launch was only redeemed by a long patch campaign. Dark Souls 2, Crown of the Ivory King, Metacritic 82-87, the snowy finale of the trilogy. The frigid outskirts is one of the most hated areas in the series, but it is the best received of the 3DS2 DLCs. Dark Souls 2, Crown of the Sunken King, Metacritic 82. great atmosphere, but uneven bosses, solidly middle of the road. Dark Souls 2, Crown of the Old Iron King, Metacritic 79-83. Famous for Fume Knight and Sir Alan, but enemy spam and palette swap bosses make it the weakest of the three. Phantom Blade Zero, unreleased, expected October 2026 on PS5 and PC. A wuxia actioner with high trailer heat, ranked on anticipation, reputation to be proven. The Duskbloods, also unreleased, coming to Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. A new From Software multiplayer PvPvE Souls-like, the studio's name alone guarantees top-tier attention. Finally, the D tier. First, Code Vein 2. Metacritic 65-70, user score 5.9, only 64% positive on Steam. The open-world gamble failed, weak performance and a lost art identity, badly split reception. Elden Ring Night Rain, Metacritic 77-84, user 6.8. A co-op roguelike spin-off, players complain about reused assets and price to content. FromSoft's reputation stumble. Hellpoint, Metacritic 64, 59% positive on Steam. A low-budget space station Souls, interesting ideas, but bugs and rough feel throughout. Anatria, The Last Zone, Metacritic 69-70. The sunlit Italian setting looks genuinely fresh, but balance, boss design and technical issues are obvious. A shame for the premise. Bleak Faith, Forsaken, Metacritic 63. A three-person team's colossal world stuns exploration fans, but the combat feel is rough and bugs abound, the most split reception on the board. The Surge, Metacritic 72-74. A sci-fi exosuit Souls, the limb-targeting gear mechanic is a neat twist, but environments repeat and bosses are mediocre. The Surge 2, Metacritic 75-78. Clearly better, smoother combat and a more open world, but still a niche mid-tier pick. Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, Metacritic 87 but user score 7.6, among the lowest in the series. The community's weakest Souls, enemy spam and bland bosses. A vocal minority defends its experimental ambitions. Dark Souls 3, Ashes of Ariandel, Metacritic 71-73, the weakest official Souls DLC. Short and PvP-oriented, only Sister Fried reaches all-time great status. The Last Hero of Nostalgaia, Metacritic 75. A pixel art parody with real charm, but stiff controls and a rough finish keep it obscure and niche. Mortal Shell, Rotten Autumn, a free DLC on a Metacritic 76 base game. Small and average in quality, worth a look only if you already own the base game. That's the full ranking of 57 Souls-likes. Which placement do you disagree with the most? Let us know in the comments.